All right, now let's turn our focus on the country's education system. Now, Gauteng Education MEC Panyaza Lesufi this week committed to place all pupils in the province by the end of the month. 700 online applicants remain unplaced. Lesufi was speaking at the opening of a new school in Sedibeng in the Vaal as pupils in inland provinces start the new academic year. Gauteng needs another 100 new schools to accommodate the high demand. 102,000 new pupils entered the province's school system this year. Lesufi says it's estimated that a further 10,000 pupils are only starting the late registration process today. Now, let's get an update. We are joined now via Zoom by Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona. Steve, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, there's another 2 weeks left to go before the end of the month. How far is the department with the process of placing unplaced pupils, given the MEC's statement?
Good afternoon, and to all our viewers. Look, we've made inroads since that statement, which MEC indicated at 700. We are at now less than 300, as he has already updated that number on Friday again. So we are making inroads, like SE has already indicated that probably by the end of January, we should be done with the remaining 300 and those that are in our offices. I'm talking about your inner grades and your late applications that we are seeing now, because we have already opened a system for late applicants to access the system and choose schools. So that's what we are doing now, and we are hopeful that by the end of January, we should be in a position to say we are done with the process of the admissions.
Talk to me about the late registration, for these 10,000 or so pupils that will be open for them today. How will that then unfold?
No, actually, it was opened on Wednesday when we opened the schools. So we've been seeing quite a sizable number of people that are visiting our offices. Our district offices are full with quite a number of people that are saying they seek space, coming from different provinces. Some are coming from, they want to change districts from one district to the other. So we'll give them an opportunity to choose those schools that are available. Because remember, we have indicated that for late registration, we're going to avail schools that have space. If a school does not have space or they have reached capacity, then we take it out of the system, because it doesn't make sense for us to, put a school there. Meanwhile, we know that we're not going to be in a position to provide space, to people. So that's how we will be managing. But we should be in a position to update the numbers probably by next week on how many of the late applicants we've already processed, because for them it's quite easy, because once you land in the system, you then choose schools that are available, and once you choose that school, you are automatically placed. We're not going to be giving you an option to choose all other schools. So once you choose one school, already you are placed, and you give space to the other people that will also be coming in the system.
I know you've mentioned the system, but, it's an online system that's received some criticism, year in, year out. Are you working on plans to improve the system? In fact, is the problem with the system, or is there a capacity issue?
Thanks very much, for the latter. The problem we have is capacity, not even capacity of the system. Because remember, when we started with the system in 2016, yes, we were challenged by the system because of the capacity. The system could not carry the number of people that, wanted to apply at a go. And each and every year, then we had a responsibility to enhance the system and make sure that it can carry the numbers that will be applying at the same time. So we are not now talking about the system, we're talking about the capacity, which is a challenge for us. But, the public will always say, no, the issue is the system. And we are saying, and we will repeat it, that the system has no problem. Because, for an example, those that are applying for inner grades, the inner grades. I'm talking about those that are not grade 1 and 8. They are in our district offices as we speak. Like the entire past week, they've been there the past 3 days. And I'm sure that on Monday, we're still going to see them in our district offices. They would have went to our schools and they could not get space. So, there's no system that is utilized there. They go to schools and they knock there and say, we need space, and they tell them they are full. Then they come to us, at the district office. We must then make a plan and try to accommodate them. So the issue that the system is a challenge, we really don't need to focus on that. We really need to focus on the challenge that we have, which we've been saying that it's capacity. We have schools that are preferred by almost everyone in a certain community, and the schools that receive so much or so many applications, which they will not be in a position, even if we wanted to accommodate all those aggrieved parents, we will not be in a position to do that because of the number of classes that we must have, the resources at a certain school. And where we can build more classes, we have provided funding to those schools to build more classes, so that this year when we open the system for next year, probably some of the schools would have had more in terms of accommodating more of the applicants.
So, Steve, are you saying Steve, that we won't see the scenes that we saw at the beginning of this year, where parents were queuing, saying that they did probably follow as much as possible in terms of what the system wants, but there was no follow through from the department, and they were only told much later that their children were not accepted at that particular school. So are you saying that we will start to see a little bit of a change in as far as that problem is concerned?
Yeah, but it will be wrong to say there's no follow through, because remember, after we close the system for the application period, we then probably give ourselves 2 weeks or even 3, so that we then look at the internal processes between the schools, district offices, and head office. Make sure that when we start with the process of placement, we would have looked at all the lists, the waiting list, looked at the system on whether we are ready now to press the buttons to say the system must then start to place. So surely the issue that there's no follow through, I don't think that will be truthful, because after that process, we will then start with the process of placement. Once we start to place, then surely parents will always be anxious. If my neighbor says, I've got a space and I don't have, then I start to panic to say, but why is my child not placed as yet? Then visit our offices, call the call center, and our officials will be in a position to say, no, we are not done with the process of placement. We'll continue and make sure that all those that need a school are accommodated. So in our district offices this week, what we're experiencing there, it's a lot of categories. People that could not upload documents. During open time, when we were saying, upload documents, they could not. And we went to an extent of saying, okay, let's have a period where we open just for them only to upload documents. We did that. The numbers went down because many of them uploaded. So those that could not upload documents, they then have to visit our district offices. And that's the category that we were assisting. So we cannot really blame the system.
Okay. Now, another thing that you touched on is that, a lot of parents prefer a certain school, and there brings in this conversation about the standard of education in township and rural areas, some believing that the standard has nosedived. And in fact, COSAS has called for the curriculum to be changed. What's your statement or sentiment as the Department of Education when you hear criticism leveled at the department, such that the standard is the problem?
No, as the department, we really respect our stakeholders. in the education sector, you cannot just take decisions without interacting with your stakeholders. We have SGB associations, we have the labor movements, different ones, which our educators belong to. We have learner formations, we have learner representation. So when we do anything, we take inputs coming from everywhere, including the public and the parents. So we don't underestimate any criticism. We look at it very closely. I mean, you will know that MEC is very fond of negotiating and making sure that we persuade people. That's his mantra, and he's very good at that. So we'll always persuade. So what we are doing, we just make sure that we take the inputs. If there's something that really we need to change, we will do that. So the quality of education in township has improved. Wait for Friday when we release our statistics in Gauteng on the matric results. You will see. We're going to tell you that so many of the township schools have performed. They even surpassed those that are in the formal model Cs or in the urban area, or those that we are saying they are high pressure schools. We'll give you those numbers. You will see. We have invested so much in the township education. We have opened schools of specialization, which 90% of them, they're in the townships. So we will continue to invest on township education. The smart boards, most of the smart boards are in the township. Tablets, those learners in the townships, they have tablets, which we have provided to them to improve the quality of education in the township. So we've improved so much, and we will continue to do so and make sure that we monitor very closely. I mean, there are schools that are giving us 100% in the townships, and they've been doing that for the past 3 years now. So it's not a fluke to say probably some miracle happened. It means that the quality of education in the township has improved.
Steve, thank you so much. That's where we have to leave it. We definitely then look forward to those results. We want to see if the proof indeed is in the pudding. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Steve Mabona, Education Spokesperson in Gauteng.